A small army of people have been working nonstop these many months, bringing Air Canada back to Air India, forgive me, back to Toronto. It's no small task to execute this new route with excellence, and on behalf of the 50,000 staff who work at Toronto Pearson, we thank you very much. The presence of Air India at Toronto Pearson provides more choice and more connectivity for passengers in both Delhi and Toronto, and illustrates once again the emergence of Toronto Pearson as one of the world's most important mega hubs. This is good news for Toronto, for Southern Ontario, and Canada at large. And in closing, and on behalf of our CEO, Howard Eng, and the entire staff of Toronto Pearson, congratulations to our friends at Air India, and welcome back to the Toronto Pearson family. We have very much missed you. Welcome back, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today morning I came by this inaugural flight from Delhi, and the energy inside the aircraft was palpable. It had to be seen to be believed. And when we landed here, a big round of applause from all the passengers. Well, that goes to show that this flight was very much in demand. It was a much needed flight. And therefore we have started it. And what an apt day to start this flight. Today is World Tourism Day, 27th of September. 27th September we start this flight. We link direct flight between India and Canada. Tourism will grow, businesses will grow, advantages for everyone. Well, here we are after a gap of 7 years, and the flight is full for the next couple of months. And if the same situation prevails, then we look at increasing the frequency.
Connectivity is the most important thing between two countries. If businesses are to flourish, if tourism is to be promoted, and most importantly, if people-to-people contacts is to be maintained, then physical connectivity is the most important thing. Of course, we already had Air Canada providing services to India via both Toronto and Vancouver, but now passengers get another added option with the recommencement of the Air India flights. So I think today is a very, very important and historic day for us. Just to see the Air India logo back at Pearson Airport, filled me with such great pride, because whenever we see the Air India logo, it feels as if we have come home. And Toronto, of course, is home to one of the largest Indian diasporas in the world. The total number of Indians in Canada, the total number of Indo-Canadians is about 1.6 million. Add to that the 176,800 Indian students who are now visa students in Canada. And you already can see why this flight is full. But this is not just a flight for Indo-Canadians, this is really a flight for everyone. Because Air India is one of the world's leading carriers. It has an impeccable safety record. It flies to 40 destinations internationally, 80 destinations within India. So it provides an unmatched level of connectivity to any passenger who wants to fly out of Toronto Pearson Airport and arrive at the capital of India.
Thank you, Air India, for choosing Canada and Ontario as a choice of destination, as a choice to do business. As Parliamentary Assistant to Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, this is a real big plus for us. I'm just going to take you back a little while. When I was very, very young, the very first flight I ever took was from London to Delhi on an Air India flight. And it was such a wonderful flight that I said, I want to be an air hostess when I grow up. So that hasn't happened. But it's certainly an exciting day. I'm really, really looking forward to using Air India on our flights to and from India. And I think we really, really, on behalf of our province again and on behalf of our Premier, thank you.
We have a lot of people from Punjab, especially in the GTA area. I think it's a big business model, and it's a reasonable business model to Air India also to ask. I think it is time we should start looking at Toronto, Mohali, Toronto as well. So thank you so much.
Because India and Canada have very strong and bilateral relations based on mutual interest and respect for each other. The strong and dynamic relation between the two countries is deeply rooted in people-to-people ties, and this service will bring India and Canada more closer, whether it's trade, whether it's economic relations or cultural relations. So this will bring India and Canada more closer, because as Mr. Consular said, that India is one of the largest source of immigration to Canada. So we definitely need this flight. It was much needed. So thank you to the government of Ontario for doing this. Thank you so much for having us.
civil aviation market is growing at 17% a year. Now, 17% rate of growth is phenomenal in any yardstick, by any way of measurement. When Jet Airways ceased operation, we had 590 planes in the sky. Today we have 690. And as we speak, more and more flights are being added. Yesterday I saw a news report that one of our carriers, I think SpiceJet, added 46 flights to its schedule. Before long, we will be looking at 2,000 civil aviation aircraft in the Indian skies. We are already, I believe, the third largest domestic civil aviation market. Delhi Airport, when I joined the Indian Foreign Service and went on my first posting to Tokyo, Delhi Airport carried 1.9 million passengers a year. Today it carries 70 million passengers. And when I talked to the airline, to the airport operator, of course, you know, airline operators, airport operators are always full of big numbers. But when he told me that he's looking at 125 million, either by adding another runway or the other airport which is coming up, I believe him. I believe him because that's the growth which is taking place. Today, a lot of people want to fly. You need airport slots. The CMD and I encouraged him. He's just added, you know, we have 6 flights from Amritsar to Birmingham in the Midlands in the UK, 3 directly and 3 via Delhi, and he's just adding 3 direct flights to London. But when we wanted to go to London, additional flights, we didn't get slots. One of you, I would encourage the CMD to make this a daily flight, that is 7 flights a week, earlier rather than later. He tells me that for the next few months the flight is fully booked. And then you come into peak season, which is December. In any case, it's going to be fully booked then. So encourage him, instead of making it 7 flights a week from March, let's make it sometime in December. So I'm on your side in that we are also in the process of privatizing Air India. Therefore, I'm even more delighted that at a time when Air India will be privatized, and it will be a successful privatization, Air India is a first-rate airline. It has 120 planes, 60 of which it owns. It flies to 80 destinations domestically. It has 40 destinations outside. It has very talented manpower, engineers, outstanding pilots, cabin crew, a safety record which is second to none. So if I were asked, then why are you then wanting to privatize Air India? For a simple reason. I don't think governments should run airlines. That's my personal view, and that's a view shared across the spectrum. We want to keep it Air India. We will keep it as a flagship carrier, but I think the business decisions need to be taken by those who are in the business of running airlines. So what shape that takes, but it will happen quickly.
I'm extremely happy and extremely proud that this is happening, the direct Toronto, Delhi and Amritsar flight, and especially with so much population, Sikh brothers and sisters are living here in this area, and it will be really helpful for them to go and, you know, pay homage, to pay their obeisance to Harminder Sahib Ji Golden Temple in Amritsar. So I'm really happy, and I hope that it gets very good results so that the frequency increases and more cities are connected.
So Mr. Saxena, today I'm feeling very, very happy and very, very proud, because just to see the Air India logo back in the skies of Toronto, I think it's a great feeling, because whenever I look at the Air India logo, it feels like I have come home. Because Air India, we feel it is our airline, even though it's a government airline, but it's a national airline. And that is why for Air India to recommence flights from Toronto to India, I think is a very big day, is a red letter day in the history of India and Canada. And this will not only promote people-to-people contacts, it is also going to promote businesses and tourism in a big way. It has been a great privilege to serve as the Indian High Commissioner to Canada, but eventually it's time for me to go. And I'm going back to India to take over my new position as Secretary in charge of Consular, Passport, Visas and Overseas Indian Affairs. So the connection with the Indian diaspora at least will be maintained, because I will be responsible in my new position for the welfare of the 31 million strong Indians living outside India.
You know, with the United States, we do $100 billion. Yeah. So it's a question of both sides, the people who live there, enhancing their people-to-people contact, but more than that, also seeing the economic opportunities that are available. I said during my short remarks that in each of the 3 ministries with which I'm associated, Housing and Urban Affairs, Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry, that there's great potential. And I would like to see people take advantage of that. And it all starts with people-to-people contact. So when you provide flights, you provide them an opportunity to directly link. You know, the Jet Airways issue is before the NCLT. And because it's before a judicial body, it will not be correct for me to comment on it. No, that's an entirely, you see, as I'm a minister, I'm the Minister for Civil Aviation. I mean, this matter is before the National Company Law Tribunal. So they will take a decision on it. No, it's not a call. It's not appropriate to comment on something which is before a judicial body. हाँ बिल्कुल उदी हैगी क्योंकि तुहानू याद होएगा कि 22 नवंबर 2018 मोदी जी दी मंत्रिमंडल ने कुछ बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट फैसले लिते सीगे उस उन्हां फैसलिਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ कि वो सुल्तानपुर लोधी ਨੂੰ ਡਿਵੈਲਪ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਔਨ ਸਮਾਰਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਚੇਅਰਸ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਬਾਹਰ ਕਰਤਾਰਪੁਰ ਕੋਰੀਡੋਰ ਵੀ ਸਟਾਰਟਡ ਬਟ ਉਹਦੀ ਲੈਟਰ ਐਂਡ ਸਪਿਰਿਟ ਇਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਨੂੰ air connectivity ਚੰਗੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਏਗੀ so this is a very important step in providing that air connectivity ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਦੋ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਇਕੋਨਮੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਪਰ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਇਲੈਟਰਲ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆંકੜੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਜਾਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ